The Toronto Maple Leafs are currently tied for first in the Atlantic with the Florida Panthers, but have 2 games in hand over the defending Cup champs. Despite dealing with tons of injuries to key players this year, they've still been able to win games and not get complacent. Could this potentially be the year we see the Leafs make some noise in the playoffs?
Kawhi up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win! Got it! Batista with a drive, deep left field, no doubt about it! Over center, here's Marner, and Matthews,
scores! Welcome back to Everyday Toronto, your ultimate source for your Leafs, Raptors, and Jays news found all in one place. Before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos like this, breaking down news, rumors, and potential trade ideas for your favorite Toronto teams. Toronto's goalie tandem of Stolarz and Woll has looked incredible 24 games into the season. Both goalies rank top 4 in the league for goals against average and save percentage, and have also been able to come up clutch in huge moments to win some games for the Leafs. Toronto's defense has also looked as strong as it's ever been in the Matthews era. The offseason additions of Chris Tanev and Oliver Ekman-Larsson really look to be helping the team. Tanev has been able to form a shutdown pair with Jake McCabe, and OEL has formed more of an offensive pair with Riley while still being a very defensively responsible pairing. Toronto's forwards have been very solid despite this being the most injured part of the team, but this is what you should expect when you have players like Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and John Tavares. Matthew Knies has had a big impact on the Toronto forwards, making them effective on most nights. The leap we've seen him take this year has Toronto fans very excited for the player he can become if he continues at this rate. Craig Berube's style of coaching looks like it has Leafs players engaged at almost all times, and we've never really seen this with this core group of players. His style of play has also been proven to win championships like he did with the 2019 St. Louis Blues. With all that being said, I'm very excited with what we have on this team, and this is the most hope I've had in a Leafs team to make an actual run at the Stanley Cup, but there's still moves that need to be made to convince everyone that this is the year. Leafs GM Brad Treliving has said in years past he prefers to add in the offseason, but I do believe he'll be busy at this year's deadline. In today's video, we're going to be looking at areas that the Leafs can potentially make additions to really help them get to the top of the mountain. The Leafs' biggest hole in their lineup is the lack of quality center depth past Matthews and JT. Minten has been very good since being called up and his future looks promising, but I don't think having a rookie center your third line is ideal come playoff time. So the first player that I want to look at is Brock Nelson. I've already talked about Nelson and the impact he could have in a previous video, but I do think he would be the best third line center option for the Leafs. He has playoff experience and his career playoff stats are close to a point per game and around 50% in the faceoff circle. He contributes on both sides of the ice and shows constant effort in every game. With the Islanders being a few points out of the wildcard spot in the East and Nelson being on an expiring contract, I have no doubt he will be moved. The next player is Frank Vatrano of the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks don't look like they're going to be competitive yet again, and with Vatrano on an expiring deal, they could be looking to move him. Vatrano would be a great add to a Leafs team where they lack quality left wingers. Vatrano last season had 39 goals and would definitely provide some depth scoring on a team that tends to lack it come playoff time. Frank is also a pretty physical player. Last year he had 156 hits, and this year he's on pace for over 200 hits. This would allow the Leafs to maintain some of the grit they've been building on the last few seasons while also getting a point producer. Although the Seattle Kraken are just outside a wildcard spot, I don't see them making the playoffs, and with a player like Will Borgen on an expiring contract, the Kraken could be willing to move him. Borgen is 28 and under contract for the remainder of this year at $2.7 million. He's 6'3" and loves to throw some big hits. He's exactly the kind of guy you want on your playoff roster. Although the Leafs' defense this year hasn't been an issue, the main concern I have is Connor Timmins. Overall, Timmins has been very impressive this year, but I don't think his style of play is built for playoff hockey. And due to the Leafs having 2 defensemen they like to play on the power play over Timmins, I don't see much value in having it. If you switch Timmins with Borgen and play him alongside Benoit, you have a third pair that can consistently give you great defensive minutes, but can also put fear in opposing teams' forwards and make them second guess trying to get a full head of steam on the break. The last player I want to look at is Luke Schenn. Now as Leaf fans, I probably don't need to do too much explaining. Luke Schenn has worked in the past with Riley and has been a wrecking ball for his entire career. He plays the exact kind of hockey you want come playoff time and would allow OEL to bump down to the third line with Benoit. This gives the Leafs a very balanced defense group with 3 lines that can break the puck out and play good defense. The only problem with Schenn is he's now 35 and the style of hockey he plays isn't necessarily the kind that lets you play at 100% all the time. On the bright side, he's under contract for this year and next at $2.75 million on a Predators team that is looking to shake things up as they're underperforming. Let me know down below what you think. Should the Leafs look into any of the players I mentioned, or who would you like to see them pursue? That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and go Leafs go.